this is Lord's Legion, and welcome to the best villains ever. The show in which I talk about a specific villain and talk about the backstories, abilities, greatest feats, and why I personally love them so much. And to celebrate the release of Transformers the last night, I have decided to do another iconic Transformers villain in the name of Starscream. Now it is true in context that Starscream is probably one of the most lamest Decepticons out there, but at the same time he is also one of the most compelling. Because although Starscream is actually a threat, he is constantly overshadowed by the likes of Megatron and other Decepticons. So let's kick off this episode with his backstory, or their lack of. Now, like the rest of the characters in the Transformers franchise, Starscream's backstory has hardly ever been explored, and this goes to pretty much every incarnation of Starscream. Now, the most consistent aspect about his origin throughout many incarnations is the fact that prior to him becoming a Decepticon, Starscream was actually a scientist. But as the war went on, Starscream ended up joining the Decepticons as Starscream craves for domination. Now the thing that stands out about Starscream is the fact that unlike Megatron, who believes that they should just rule everything through brute force, Starscream would prepare to do everything stealthy and destroy all the Autobots in the quickest way imaginable. And because of this, Starscream always believed that he would be the better leader for the Decepticons over Megatron. And that's the thing that makes Starscream actually compelling, because he is almost the polar opposite to Megatron. Megatron is more about brute force, however Starscream is more about using his own cunning mind. And because Megatron always fails constantly with his plans, that actually convinces Starscream that his methods would actually be better than Megatron's. And this makes him crave even more for dominance over the Decepticons, but whenever he tries, he never seems to quite manage. Unless Megatron is absent by some means. And whenever Starscream does get the leadership, it's only ever short term, because Megatron always comes back and shows Starscream what for. And this in a way actually makes Starscream somewhat of a tragic villain, because he is always this overshadowed. Now, as you could imagine from a typical Transformer, they would have a variety of abilities and powers, and Starscream is no exception, as Starscream possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, endurance, and reflexes. He also has enhanced intellect, stamina, longevity, flight, gadgets, adaptive, and he can even transform into an F-15 Eagle fighter jet. And in this form, Starscream could go 3 times the speed of sound. Not to mention, he also has a variety of missiles, as well as a Gatling gun to boot. Starscream is also capable of doing some blast powers, electronic disruption, fire control, cluster bombs, and of course his iconic null rays. Now what's interesting about Starscream is that unlike most of the Transformers, his spark is actually unbreakable. Therefore, Starscream is actually immortal. But not only that, he could also do some form of astral projection, as well as possessing other bodies. Also, Starscream is a master of stealth, unarmed combat, weapons master, master manipulator, and also has some form of leadership skills, although not on par to Megatron's. Now over the years, Starscream has achieved quite a few feats. For starters, Starscream has climbed his way into becoming second in command of the Decepticons, and that is no easy feat. Not to mention, Starscream is the leader of all the Seekers, such as Skywarp, Thundercracker, Sunstorm, just to name a few, and has even overthrown Megatron as the leader of the Decepticons on a few occasions. Not to mention, Starscream has also taken a lot of punishment from Megatron over the years whenever he tries to overthrow him as the leader of the Decepticons, which that in itself is a good feat because it just shows that Starscream does have a lot of willpower, and it also shows that he does have a lot of durability. And as mentioned earlier, due to the fact that Starscream's spark is unbreakable, he has cheated death numerous occasions. And as a result, Starscream is always able to come back, whether it comes down to him using cloned bodies of himself or possessing other Transformers. And as mentioned earlier, Starscream in chair form is capable of going 3 times the speed of sound, which is very impressive even for Transformers standards. Starscream can always manipulate himself out of most situations, and is even capable of effortlessly destroying vehicles and buildings. Now Starscream does have plenty of different incarnations over the years, and one of his more noteworthy additions is of course his incarnation in Transformers Armada, where in the beginning he is more like the traditional Starscream as we all know, but over time became more of a heroic character, and in the end decided to sacrifice himself in order to unite both the Autobots and Decepticons against a bigger threat in the name of Unicron. And this is probably the most fresh take on the character. We also have the Transformers animated version of Starscream, and although he was mostly more of a comic relief for the series, in some of the earlier episodes he was actually more of a threat than you may realise, as he was able to go toe to toe with Optimus Prime. And this version of Starscream is still pretty enjoyable, especially how they tackled the fact that he does have an unbreakable spark, something that some incarnations of Starscream tend to ignore. And we also have the Starscream from the Transformers movies, which they do have his cowardly aspects down, but they hardly ever utilised his manipulative mind, nor did Starscream ever try to overthrow Megatron. And we also have the War for Cybertron games, in which Starscream in this pretty much seems like the exact same from Gen 1, just all the more modernised, and that isn't actually a bad thing. As a matter of fact, he is pretty enjoyable in these games. And believe it or not, the War for Cybertron Starscream is exactly the same as the one from Transformers Prime. However, in Transformers Prime, they utilised more on his cunning mind, and this version of Starscream is smarter, more cunning, and just all the more ballsy. Probably the most sinister incarnation of Starscream out there. And this version of Starscream is going to have more of a retro body for the Robot in Disguise series. Now, Starscream may not be the most powerful Decepticon, nor is he ever the smartest. Hell, he's not even the bravest Decepticon. But the thing that makes Starscream work is the fact that he has different ideologies to Megatron, however he does have dissimilar goals. And also he surprisingly has indomitable will. And no matter how many times he keeps falling down, he always rises back up. And sure, he doesn't have the strength of Megatron nor the intellect of Shockwave, but if you put all that to one side, Starscream is still a huge threat to the Autobot because of his deception. Although Starscream is powerful, he prefers to use his own mind. He prefers to use his brain over Megatron's brawn. And because of how intelligent Starscream really is, as well as the fact that he will always come back no matter what, and just how much of a different leader Starscream could really be in comparison to Megatron, this is why I think that Starscream is one of the best villains of all time. So are you a fan of Starscream, and what is your favourite incarnation of the character? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.